This program is brought to you in partnership with the Central Bank of Nigeria.
Glad to have you back. It's the Business Daily right here on Trust Television. Digital transformation in the management of cooperative funds involve replacing manual paper-based processes with integrated digital platform to enhance efficiency, transparency, and member engagement. Key applications include using cloud-based accounting software, mobile wallet for transaction, and digital member management system for real-time reporting and improve security. Which part of it are we deploying in Nigeria? I'm being joined in the studio by President Abuja Cooperative Federation, Mr. Emmanuel Atama. Glad to have you joining us here.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to be here again.
All right. Mr. Emmanuel Atama is also the Executive Secretary and CEO of CFAN.
Yes.
All right. Let's look at the issue of digital transformation. And I recall attending one of your meetings and you were discussing issues around using digital transformation to manage cooperative funds. What informed that decision? Thank
you very much. We are in the era of technology. And any institution or individual that do not imbibe technology in carrying out its operation will find it difficult to deal with the world. And you see that cooperative provide financial services to their members. And members go to banks, and once they put in money, they get alert. They also have a customer app from their bank, and they are also happy about that. The issue now is not when you go into the bank before you can deal with your bank, but for wherever you are, you can deal with your bank. We are replicating same in cooperative because you discover that most people even deal more with their cooperatives
than the banks.
Most of the cooperatives render similar financial services that the banks are rendering. So we felt it is necessary for us to do same, considering the fact that Nigeria is a leading voice in global cooperative movement. So we imbibe this culture of technology since 2015, when I assumed office as the Executive Secretary and CEO of CFAN. And this month, we are actually celebrating 10 years of the use of the Unified Cooperative Platform, which is a digital platform that can compete favorably with any banking software in Nigeria.
That's interesting. And at the beginning of this year, the federal government of Nigeria intended to implement a comprehensive digital overhaul of about 10,000 registered cooperatives with a focus on Abuja initially. Has that started?
Yes. You know, there are two sides to digitizing cooperative. You have the regulatory side, which is what the federal government is talking about. Then we have the movement side, which is the practice. As for the movement, I think we are ahead of the government.
All right.
I told you since 2015, we started ours, and it is working across the country. We are even thinking of deploying it to other countries across Africa. They have given us that request. Then for the government, like Nasarawa, they're already running on the software. Pocket of other states, including the FCT that is commencing. So the conference we held...
It's not a federal government project.
It's a federal government project, but what I'm saying is that before the federal government stood up for it, some states have commenced.
Okay, they're already on board.
Yes, because cooperative is on the concurrent list of legislation. So the federal government do their own, the state do their own. But what the Honorable Minister Supervising Cooperative is talking about is that there is no need to operate in silos. There should be something that is holistic, that the states can tap into it, instead of states developing theirs, we have a comprehensive a system that accommodates all the states, including the FCT,
Okay.
and such that once data is generated, they can easily be handshake, and then we can have a global data for Nigeria.
All right. How comprehensive or how modernized is these operations?
Yes, you know, one of the World Bank survey report, I think about a year ago, was about the issue of regulation, that the regulators of cooperative in Nigeria, both the federal and state, need to up their game. And a situation whereby things are still done manually is actually out of modern way of doing things. So the comprehensive nature of it is that you can register your cooperative online. You can as well print your cooperative certificates and bylaws as approved by the authority online. You can also engage your regulator in terms of if there are regulatory issues, if there is need for arbitration, if there is need for inspection, if there is need to hold an AGM, if there is need to file returns in terms of your annual performance, you will have to do that online without necessarily going to meet the regulator in their office. So it is holistic, it is comprehensive, and it creates a real-time situation for interface between the regulator and the people practicing cooperative.
Okay, before we talk about, okay, let's go to the issue of capacity building. How much of collaboration do you think you are doing to ensure that we have digital literacy, which is very, very important in implementing this digital transformation we're talking about?
Yes, a lot has been done, like I told you, from the practice perspective. That is the cooperative that we know. If we have spent 10 years in running the software, then you should know that a lot has been done. And the first thing we did was moving around the country, moving from one zone to the other, engaging the regulator, engaging the movement, making sure that they know that there is something of this nature, which we did at the first year of the activity. And then in each of our conference, each year we hold close to 3 to 4 national conferences. There is no conference that we don't bring up the issue of digitization. So we keep engaging them. Right now, what we are trying to do is to see how we can put on our platform a digital literacy icon whereby individuals
it's like an application.
Yes, they can click on it, and then they can get 1 or 2 information regarding the operationalization of the software.
Or what about the knowledge of the digital? What kind of infrastructure are you deploying to support the users?
Yes, like what we do is that the moment a cooperative they register online. Once they register, we see from our portal that social cooperative has engaged. The next thing we do is to see how we train them on the use of the platform. There are those that we meet them physically, there are those that we do online. But the most important thing is that computer is something that you keep using. If you leave computer one day, it leaves you 2 weeks. So, but so far, so good. It has been very, very interesting. It is more or less like a practical thing than a theoretical thing. The theory is just to tell you, this is what this is all about. This particular icon is for this particular this is for this. But when you start using it, it's more or less a practical thing. And when you are using it, you get to discover various features from time to time.
All right, let's look at how this will benefit government, because when the government did say that they are doing a comprehensive digital overhaul of over 30,000 registered cooperatives, in Abuja, with their focus starting from Abuja. Part of the initiative, their plan is that this aligns with their goal of achieving $1 trillion economy by 2030. And of course, it's trying to see how they can bring in farmers, women, and youth into more like financial inclusion. How do you think this expansion will, to a large extent, help this government drive?
You see, we have been working with the central bank and other partners on financial inclusion. It may interest you to know that there is a task team at the moment on linking the formal sector, the informal sector to formal sector finance, of which the National Cooperative Financing Agency of Nigeria is the deputy chair of that task team. It is led by NIMSI. And we have institutions like SMEDAN, SANEF, and departments in Central Bank, and the Federal Ministry of Finance as part of the task team. And what we intend to achieve to make sure that activities within the informal sector are captured for purpose of planning and for purpose of making sure that these people are included in the financial inclusion drive. So if you check our own operational document also, which we call the Cooperative Inclusive Strategy, one of our goals is to create a real-time reporting system whereby on a monthly basis, each cooperative will go to the portal and impute their monthly performance in terms of how much they generated as savings, how much they gave out as loan, how much loan repayment they received that month, and as well give us information as regards their membership stand, gender disaggregated, number of men, number of women. And then through that, we can aggregate. You can imagine what it means if 10,000, 20,000 cooperatives are able to do this. You will see that you will be able to know the contribution of cooperative to national development.
Absolutely.
That has not been there before. But if you check the Cooperative Act, you will see that it is incumbent on cooperatives to do that. So we believe that why they have not been doing that might be because of paperwork, and you need to do and go to the regulator's office to drop it. But if you can sit in the comfort of your office and impute those things, and it becomes real, becomes accessible by all parties. So what we intend to do is to make sure that we dole out this figure, and you will see that cooperative is doing very well. You see, like for the past 5 years now, we've been running like a survey on about 15 cooperatives, big ones in Abuja. And we discovered that on a monthly basis, they get not less than, put all their income together. They're getting not less than 4 billion. And
only 15 cooperatives?
Just 15. Some of them, one of them gets about 700 million every month. Some get 200 million, 300 million. Aggregate them. And you see that once this money comes to them, it goes back to their members as loan in a revolving scheme. So when you put everything across the country together, you see that cooperative is doing a lot. And if it is doing a lot, then policies and programs need to support cooperative so that cooperative will be able to drive the inclusion that is much desired.
In terms of contributions to the GDP, how much will you benchmark now a cooperative in that regards, even though we don't really have the express number now? How much of it do you think it can do, given your experience in management of cooperatives?
I cannot say anything that is not properly ascertained at the moment, but if you look at whatever we have in Nigeria today, cooperative will not do less than, should be above 1/4 of whatever we have. We are doing a lot, and that is why we say, let us use technology to bring out what we are doing so that we can attract the support of government and development partners, and that will go in a long way to help the common men and women to have a face within the economy.
All right, let's look at compliance. which is very, very important. You mentioned 15, the survey you carried out within the 15 cooperatives. How compliant are they to these new digital rules that you're bringing in?
You see, when we started in 2015, we almost had issues with our partner, the CWG PLC, because there were no traction. Cooperatives were reluctant in coming on board. But today, as I speak with you, we sit at the comfort of our office, we get email, we get cooperatives calling, we want to onboard. Even before I left office this morning, about 2 cooperatives have knocked the door. They want to onboard. Because the issue is that the technology makes the member to see their cooperative the way they see their bank. Okay? So we believe that once we continue in this trend, it will promote transparency, accountability, and good governance, just like you stated from the onset of this discussion. So we see that a lot of cooperatives are getting to comply with this technological innovation in cooperative.
Quite interesting. I just did a very small findings now to know how much cooperative has contributed to Nigerian GDP. As of 2021, which is a figure available, we have 1.2 trillion naira annually, which is very huge. And the number of cooperative at the time was 300,000, and of course 31 million members. I mean, driving this growth there. I mean, if you look at these numbers, how encouraged are you that a cooperative is playing this very important role in Nigerian economy?
You see, it is a very interesting figure, and I will say that we could do more if all sides are activated. You know, when Abuja alone is talking about 30,000 cooperative registered, you can imagine what is in other parts of
like in Lagos, for example.
Yes.
In Port Harcourt,
so the issue is that we have not thrown the nets into the deep sea to catch the fish. By the time technology throw the net into the sea, you will see as much as the figure that will come out.
But do you think government is putting these searchlights on cooperative the same way they are putting now on the pension fund as well?
You see, in the financial inclusion drive, pension is part of it. I remember when I chaired the product committee for financial inclusion, PENCON was on board, and that was when we were able to set up the informal sector pension scheme. Okay, so government is activating all sectors, because you discover that these sectors reciprocate and complement one another, such that if you don't activate one, others will suffer. So government is taking a holistic approach. And I must tell you that cooperative has not been given much attention like this in the past. I see our supervising minister visibly happy to be involved. As at Monday, we were with the Minister of State Finance on a mission to see how we can activate the cooperative bank, how we can create a sustainable, strong financing model for cooperatives in Nigeria. So I think government is touching all sides. And because government is touching all sides, we should ensure that every side is working for the good of our people.
You're not scared that government may come and borrow cooperative funds just like they did at some point with pension fund?
If government borrow, they borrow with interest. So cooperative is not averse to borrowing. You rob my back, I rob your back. We also believe that as government is the biggest security you have. So even if government borrow, you have a way of getting it back. If government could borrow from outside and pay, then they should borrow from inside and pay.
You're convinced that Nigerian government, once they start borrowing cooperative fund, don't you think you find it difficult to, give loans to your members?
Mind you that when government want to pay, they can pay with crude oil. Okay? So we are not afraid. We must make sure that we activate necessary instruments that will guide against default. I think you should even be very happy that cooperatives have as much as possible to borrow government, and it will give us a good bargain.
All right. How much of empowerment or economic stability do you think cooperative has brought to Nigeria?
Take away cooperatives, there will be problem. I always cite ministries and departments, even churches and mosques now, that even in village meetings, cooperative has brought a lot of succor to people. You see, a lot of people are afraid of the formal sector finance model. You see, people go to bank and they even complain to some of us who are leading financial inclusion that we took them to where their money is locked up now. They asked them to bring this, bring that before they could take their money. And then they bank with the bank, they kept dropping their money, no issue, but when they want loan, the bank will not be able to give them. But cooperative have that certainty that once you are depositing money, the rule is that either you take double or triple of what you have said, depending on what your bylaw says. So a lot of people are much more comfortable dealing with cooperatives than dealing with the banks. And that is why we are saying that by this phase of cooperative inclusive strategy, we want to activate that agency network with the banks, such that instead of the banks dealing directly with our members, we deal directly with our members on behalf of the banks, such like account opening, payment, recovery, and all whatnot. We also believe that in this new phase of financial inclusion that we are entering, 4.0, which we are targeting the last mile, it is much more easier for a cooperative to transmit from the rural area than the banks, because some of the infrastructures the bank may need, cooperative may not need it. So I believe that cooperative is impacting seriously on the economy, and it should be encouraged, because some of our peer countries, like in the East Africa, where cooperative is well practiced, like Kenya, you discover that cooperative is the order of the day. As an adult, if you are not a member of a cooperative, you are like an outcast. And if you look at it, cooperative helps to mobilize savings. You can imagine, like there is the program we are doing now, the Cooperative Development Fund, where we intend that each member will put in 1,000 naira. And at our own end, we have over 5 million members. You can imagine if 5 million people put in 1,000 naira every month, is 5 billion. And we're able to be doing that continuously. It means there's money all over. So I believe that if we use the cooperative instrumentality and get everybody involved in mobilizing savings, then we'll have good money to do any other transaction we need to do, not necessarily going to borrow money from the banks. And you discover that if there are alternatives in the financial world, you discover that the cost of funds within the formal sector finance will come down, because we deal with the banks, and we see that each time we give out loans to our members, the banks marvel. We allow them to bear their father's name, deposit money bank. We deposit the money, and then we don't do the loan on them. We do the loans on our books. So you now discover that when they see that a lot of this cooperative is paying up to $1 billion this month as loan to their members, and this bank has not even given up to 200 million to common men and women because of a criteria, then you now discover that their funds become idle. And once their funds become idle, cooperative funds keep growing up, and then you discover that they will be compelled to reduce their interest rate. If you look at the economy, for the past 3 years...
Interest rate and conditions.
The interest rate has been growing, okay? But cooperative interest rate has still remained the same.
Single digit.
Single digit.
Interesting. Let's look at the informal sector. Like the pension now, we have what we call personal pension plan, PPP. I mean, bringing the informal sector into the pension, even though that number declined in 2025 with over 92% because of the difficulties in the economy. Are you looking at bringing in the informal sector into cooperative? If you go to some places, like those who are not, the artisans who does their own things, they don't belong to any formal association. Do you intend to bring them on board?
They are very much on board. If you step out here to Jabi Market, Jabi Park, you will see different cooperatives with the traders there. If you step out here to the PD material market here, we have one of them there. They are in cooperative. Most of them don't even find it easy to go to the Corporate Affairs Commission to register an association because of the cumbersome nature. And then some of them also feel that when you go to the Corporate Affairs Commission and register an association, you still need to be going to be changing the trustee from time to time. But in cooperative, there is ease of doing that.
All right.
So a lot of them have come into cooperative, and we are actually working with PENCOM, with the Federal Mortgage Bank, with different institutions, even the National Health Insurance Authority, to entrench universal health coverage, to entrench this informal sector pension scheme, to entrench affordable housing for our members. So we, as parent body of this cooperative, that is the role we play. We link them to this formal sector. And once we do that, they become included.
Indeed. Finally, now, in 60 seconds, you made mention about how cooperatives are thriving in East Africa, Kenya, Uganda, and the rest of them. What model do you think they are using there that we can actually, learn from, to improve what we're doing here?
You see, the model they are doing is not different from what we are doing. The only difference that you see there is that the commitment of the government, which I said earlier, has improved with what the current Honorable Minister of State, Agriculture, who is the supervising minister, is doing. And what they have done, like in Kenya, the financial cooperative regulator is very, very strong. We have SASRA, which is the SACCO's regulatory listen. So what we need to do in Nigeria is to tighten the belt. And the recent World Bank survey that we did on cooperative gave us some of the insights about how to strengthen the cooperative movement in Nigeria. And from what we have done so far, we have been implementing the recommendations. And I believe strongly that before the end of this year, a lot would have been achieved.
Absolutely. Indeed. We wish you the best in your drive. Thank you so much, Mr. Emmanuel Atama, President, Abuja Cooperative Federation, and of course, Executive Secretary, CEO of CFAN. Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
All right. With that is a wrap on the show. Today, we'll be back here again tomorrow. I am Yusuf Akugun.
This program is brought to you in partnership with the Central Bank of Nigeria.